Here's a retention-optimized script built around the diagnostic tone, narrated by an elderly Amish man with lived wisdom and quiet authority. You wake up most mornings and the first thing you feel isn't rested, it's heavy. There's a pressure behind your eyes, a tightness across the back of your neck that wasn't there when you were younger. You've checked your blood pressure enough times now that you know the numbers before the cuff even finishes inflating. Maybe your doctor has you on a pill, maybe two. Maybe you've been told to cut salt, cut stress, cut the things you enjoy. And still, the numbers creep. Still, the heaviness stays. I know you because I was you, and I know dozens of men and women in my community who were you too. My name is Eli. I'm 74 years old, and I've been farming the same land in Lancaster County since before most of you reading this were born. I don't have a medical degree. What I have is something older than that, a way of living that forces the body to reset itself regularly, without medication, without machines, without anything that needs to be plugged into a wall. What I'm going to walk you through today is something we've practiced in Amish communities for generations. Not as a trend, not as a cleanse you read about in a magazine, as a discipline, a scheduled, intentional 28-hour fast that we do once a month, and what it does to blood pressure, to inflammation, to the vascular system. Modern science has now started catching up to what our grandparents already understood in their bones. Stay with me, because I want to explain not just what to do, but why your body is doing what it's doing right now. If you understand the why, you'll never skip this again. Let's start with blood pressure itself, because I think most people have been told what it is without being told what causes it to stay high. Your heart pumps blood. The blood travels through vessels. When those vessels are stiff, narrowed, or inflamed, the heart has to push harder to move the same amount of blood through a smaller space. That extra push is what shows up as a high reading on that cuff. The number isn't the disease. The number is a report. It's your body telling you that something in the pipeline has changed. Now here's what most doctors won't sit down long enough to tell you. The vessels don't stiffen overnight. They stiffen gradually through a combination of three things: chronic low-grade inflammation, insulin resistance, and what I'd call metabolic crowding, meaning your body never gets a break from processing. Every time you eat, your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin is not a villain. But when insulin is being released 12, 14, 16 hours a day because you're eating from morning until night, the vessels that run through your body are constantly bathed in an environment that promotes stiffness and plaque buildup. The body was never designed to process food that constantly. Not ours, not yours, not anyone's. Out here, we've never eaten that way. Not because we're particularly disciplined by modern standards, but because the rhythm of our life doesn't allow it. We eat early, we work hard, we stop eating when the day winds down, and once a month, we go further than that. We do a long, intentional fast, 28 hours. From sundown one evening to the following night. I want you to understand what happens inside your body during those 28 hours because it is nothing short of extraordinary. In the first 8 to 12 hours, your body burns through its remaining glucose stores. This is the phase most people fear because it's the phase where you feel the hunger. Your stomach growls. Your energy dips a little. You think about food. This is normal. This is your body switching fuels. It's like watching a wood fire burn down before the coals take over. The flames go out, but the heat that comes next is steadier and longer lasting. By hour 12 to 16, your insulin levels have dropped to their lowest point in weeks, possibly months, depending on how you've been eating. And when insulin drops, something remarkable happens. Your blood vessels begin to relax, not metaphorically, literally. The endothelial cells that line your arteries, the cells that regulate how tight or loose those vessels are, respond directly to low insulin by releasing a compound called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a natural vasodilator. It tells your arteries to open up. It tells the smooth muscle in your vessel walls to stop contracting. And when your vessels relax, your blood pressure falls. This isn't folklore. This is biology. Studies coming out of universities in the last decade have confirmed exactly what our grandmothers told us, that extended fasting, done properly and regularly, measurably reduces systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Not by a point or two, by 10, 15, sometimes 20 points in people with stage 1 and stage 2 hypertension. 1 month of consistent practice and the numbers start moving in the right direction. But the vasodilation is only part of the story. Let me tell you about the other part, because this is the one I find most remarkable. Around hour 16 to 20, your body activates a process called autophagy. It's a Greek word that means self-eating, which sounds alarming until you understand what it actually means. Autophagy is your body's internal cleanup system. When you're not digesting food, your cells take the opportunity to identify damaged proteins, old cellular debris, dysfunctional mitochondria, the biological equivalent of junk piled in the corner, and they break it all down and recycle it. The same junk that, if left in place, contributes to chronic inflammation. The same inflammation that stiffens your arteries. The same stiff arteries that raise your blood pressure. So a 28-hour fast isn't just resting your digestive system. It's running a cleaning cycle through your vascular system. It's doing maintenance that your body is biologically designed to do, but never gets the chance to do if you're eating every few hours. Now I want to address something, because I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, Eli, I'm in my 60s, I'm diabetic or close to it, I'm on medication. I can't just stop eating for 28 hours, that'll send me to the hospital, I hear you. And I want you to hear me back very clearly. I am not telling you to ignore your doctor. I am not telling you to stop your medication tomorrow and replace it with hunger. What I am telling you is that this practice, done carefully, with awareness, has helped people in far more compromised health than yours. And the version I'm going to walk you through is built for people who haven't fasted before, who have blood sugar concerns, who are older, and who need to ease into this rather than jump in cold. Here is exactly how we do it. You choose your fast day in advance. We do ours on a Sunday, from Saturday evening after supper to Sunday evening. The consistency matters. Your body is a creature of rhythm, and when you do the same thing on the same schedule month after month, the adjustment gets easier each time. The first month is the hardest. By the third month, your body starts anticipating it. The evening before the fast, your last meal should be simple and nourishing, not a feast. Not a send-off. Something like roasted vegetables, a good piece of protein, maybe a small bowl of whole grain. Nothing heavy on refined carbohydrates. No white bread, no pasta, no sugar. The reason is practical. Refined carbs spike your insulin, which means when you start fasting, you'll have further to fall before your body settles into fat-burning mode, and the hunger in those first hours will be worse. Eat clean the night before, and the transition is smoother. The morning of the fast, you wake up and you drink water. That's it. Throughout the entire 28 hours, your only intake is water, and if you need it, a modest amount of plain black coffee or unsweetened herbal tea. No juice, no broth, no, just a little something. I know that sounds strict, but there's a reason. Anything with calories, even a small amount, triggers an insulin response and interrupts the metabolic shift you're working toward. The goal is a sustained drop in insulin. Anything that causes insulin to rise, even slightly, resets that clock. Now, what do you do with yourself for 28 hours? This is where our way of living gives us an advantage that I don't want you to overlook. We don't fast and sit still. We fast and work. We fast and move. We fast and stay occupied with tasks that use our hands and keep us present. The worst thing you can do during a fast is lie on the couch watching television, because your mind will wander directly to food and stay there. Keep your hands busy. Walk. Do light chores around the house. Tend to something. The Amish weren't healthy because we had some secret supplement or a miraculous herb. We were healthy because we kept moving, kept working, and never let the day go idle. Light movement during fasting also accelerates the benefits. When you walk or do gentle physical work while fasted, your muscles draw on fat stores even more efficiently. Circulation improves. The heart rate elevates slightly. Nitric oxide production increases. You are essentially compounding the vascular benefits of the fast with the vascular benefits of movement. The two together are far more powerful than either alone. Mid-morning and early afternoon of the fast day are usually the easiest. Your body has settled. The initial hunger has passed. You'll likely notice a mental clarity that surprises you. This is not a myth or a spiritual affectation. When your brain is running on ketones instead of glucose, which it begins doing after 12 or more hours of fasting, many people experience sharper focus, a quieter mental background noise, a sense of calm alertness. We call it a clear head. Scientists call it ketone-driven neurological efficiency. Either way, you'll feel it, and once you do, you'll stop dreading the fast. Late afternoon of the fast day is when some people hit a second wall. Energy dips again around hour 20 to 22. This is normal. This is the body going through another transition, burning deeper into fat stores, running its cellular cleanup in full swing. Drink a glass of water. Take a slow walk. Sit with it rather than fighting it. This discomfort lasts an hour or two at most. And what comes after it is a feeling of lightness that's hard to describe until you've experienced it yourself. Breaking the fast matters as much as the fast itself. This is something people get wrong constantly, and it can undermine everything you just accomplished. You do not break a 28-hour fast with a large meal. Your digestive system has been at rest, your stomach has contracted, your digestive enzymes are at low production. If you sit down to a full plate of food the moment the clock hits 28 hours, you will feel sick, and you will spike your insulin so hard that some of the vascular benefit you just spent a day earning will be partially reversed. Break the fast with something small and easily digestible. A cup of warm bone broth. A small dish of cooked vegetables. A few bites of fruit. Give your digestive system 20 to 30 minutes to wake up before you eat anything substantial. Then, your evening meal after the fast should be modest. Not a reward feast. Just a normal, nourishing dinner. Protein, vegetables, a little fat. The feasting mentality is what keeps people cycling in and out of the health problems they're trying to solve. Now, I want to speak to something that goes beyond the physical, because I'd be leaving out the most important part if I didn't. In our community, fasting is not purely a biological act. It is a practice of humility. It is a reminder that the body is not in charge, that we are stewards of these vessels, not owners of them. There is something that happens in a long fast that no blood pressure reading can capture, which is the recalibration of your relationship with appetite. After a 28-hour fast, the compulsive quality of hunger, the I need to eat right now feeling that drives people to bad decisions throughout the day, that quality softens. You learn that hunger is a wave. It rises, it peaks, and it passes. You are not in danger. You are not starving. You are simply experiencing a sensation that your body has dramatized because you've always answered it immediately. Once you know you can sit with hunger and let it pass, your entire relationship with food changes. You stop eating from anxiety. You stop eating from boredom. You eat because you're actually hungry and because the food in front of you genuinely nourishes you. That shift alone, independent of the biochemistry, is enough to change blood pressure over time, because so much of what we eat out of anxiety, boredom, and habit is the refined, processed, inflammatory food that feeds the cycle you're trying to break. People ask me how long before they see results. I'm honest with them. It depends on where you're starting. If your blood pressure is mildly elevated and you've only been dealing with it for a few years, you may notice a measurable drop after the very first fast. The vasodilation effect is immediate. By the third month of doing this once a month, consistently, most people see their average readings drop meaningfully. By 6 months, people in my community who started with readings in the 145-150 range, over 90-95, have gotten themselves into the 125-130 range, over 80, without changing anything else dramatically. If you're on medication and you're seeing your blood pressure drop, do not stop your medication on your own. Go back to your doctor, show them the numbers, and let them make the call about adjusting your dose. That's how this is supposed to work. The fasting isn't replacing your medical care. It's giving your medical care something real to work with. There are people who shouldn't do this without direct medical supervision. If you're a type 1 diabetic, if you have a history of eating disorders, if you're pregnant or nursing, or if your doctor has specifically told you that fasting is contraindicated for your condition, then you need that conversation before you try anything I've described here. This practice is powerful, and like anything powerful, it requires respect. For everyone else, the The person waking up with that pressure behind their eyes, the one whose numbers keep inching up despite doing what they were told? This is worth trying. 1 day a month, 28 hours, done consistently for 6 months, and you track your numbers. You don't take my word for it. You measure it yourself. I've watched this practice help men in their 70s who had been on blood pressure medication for 20 years. I've watched women who came to it skeptical leave it converted, not because I convinced them with words, but because their body showed them the evidence in the numbers on their own cuff. The body wants to heal. It is designed to heal. What it needs, more often than another pill, is space and time to do what it already knows how to do. We have a saying in our community that I'll leave you with. It doesn't translate perfectly from Pennsylvania Dutch, but the closest I can get it in English is this: the man who feeds his body every hour of every day has forgotten that rest is also a form of nourishment. Your blood vessels need rest. Your pancreas needs rest. Your inflammatory systems need rest. The 28-hour fast is that rest. 1 day a month is all it asks. What it gives back is far more than a number on a cuff. It's the quiet confidence of a body that knows it can take care of itself when you finally give it the chance.